The safety bar can be fantastic if you find squatting with a bar on your back quite challenging, if you have inadequate range of motion, for instance, if you have a shoulder injury, or say you're into powerlifting and you want to give the back squat a break for a little bit. This can be quite a nice accessory move as well. What you want to make sure is that the J-hooks are in line with the shoulders, or maybe just slightly under. Our black box rigs have the west side spacing anyway, so it is much more narrower, and it should help with a lot of our members get in the right position. So to get set up, all the same squat principles apply. You want to make sure that you're set up in the rack before you come out. So notice the knees are soft a little bit, the hips are back a little touch also. What I want to do is just create my brace and start to fill with some air, and then grab the handles and then stand up nice and straight. My thighs and glutes are engaged, and then I'm going to take a couple of steps back and just don't travel too far away from the J-hooks. Now, before we get started in the squat, notice the bar position, and I mean where the weight is loaded. We ideally want that weight to be roughly in line with the midfoot at the bottom of the squat. If we are, say for instance, I push this bar forward a little bit, you'll notice this weight travels forward also. So this is going to change where the weight is loaded, so just be aware of that. So if I was going through my own squat position here, I would have my feet just outside the shoulders. The reason I'm saying my own, because everyone's squat will be different. 3 points of contact with the ground. Then what I'm looking to do is, again, maintaining my brace and still filling up with air. And then as I start to descend, I just break at the hips a little bit and then drive my knees as far forward as I possibly can, keeping the knees tracking over the second to fourth toe. The hips are low and the chest is forward. I've got a slight extension at my neck, but I'm not tilting back too much. And then push back up. It's also important when you're supporting this bar on your back that it's not just sitting on the neck here, because that will force you to pull the head back. So have it resting more on the mid-back. So again, I'm driving my knees as far forward as I can go, and they're tracking over my second to fourth toe. And back up. Once you've finished, bring your feet close together and just slowly take yourself in and listen for the click. So that's just a quick summary of the safety bar squat. If the bar itself weighs 23 kilograms, and as mentioned previously, we want this weight distributed roughly around the midfoot as we're squatting. Now, if you tend to hinge your squat, it might be advisable, if you're going to use this bar off the bat, that you potentially wedge your heel 1 to 2 inches. Again, if you're looking to have a more quad dominant squat, you would want to be in a position where you could get your spine a little bit more vertical anyway, where you could have more knee flexion. Say for instance, you get back pain when you're squatting because you hinge your squats. This is where we could offload the spine a little bit by having you a little touch more vertical. But we would get more in depth into that if we were doing, for instance, 1-to-1 if we had you here at JP's. So again, goal dependent. Make sure your bar's in a safe position and enjoy this exercise at JP's.